Welcome to Graveside Project's website page, honoring the War of 1812 veterans. I'm Sean Hancox, the website administrator, and this tutorial will walk you through creating your own application. To log into your account, simply click on the Login menu item either here or here. Here. You're dropped into this Login menu, and you type in your login credentials here from the previous registration process. You can choose to either have the system remember or not your password and username when you come to a site like this. As you can see down here, I'm using Internet Explorer. All browsers have this capability built into them. Some of them have them disabled, and some people don't like using it. It's your personal preference. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to click not for this site. Now, every once in a while, as is demonstrated by what happened to me just now, when you log in, it looks like you haven't logged in, but if you actually take a look at what it says up here, it says log out now. That implies that I'm actually logged in. And if you take a look up on the upper left-hand side, it says Graveside Project, and if I hover over it, I get Dashboard. If I click on Dashboard, I'm taken into the actual back end of the database system where I can create my post. So the first thing that I should do is I should click on Profile. This is the same information that we typed in during the registration process. Scrolling down a little bit, you can see the drop-down box that says Display Name Publicly As. You should select your first name and last name. This is a standard that we're using for the website, and it eliminates the need for people to have to put a byline in the biography. So by all means, make sure you change it to your first name, last name. Scrolling down a little bit more, this is the email address that you used when you logged in. This email address is very important because if you ever have to do a password reset, this is where the password is going to be sent to. If this email address is wrong, you'll never see your password reset. Some people like to put information about themselves in the application, such as they're the fourth great grandson of their relative. I would recommend putting that information here in the biographical information. If you're bilingual, you can put it in both French and English. Eventually we're going to have all of the applications, at least the summary of information, available in both languages. If you're bilingual, by all means you could write the biography both in English and French. Unfortunately, I'm not. So I'm just going to fill in the biographical information in English. If you need to create a new password or want to change your password, this is where you would do it. Type your password in here and repeat the password down here. And then down here under the extra fields, it's blurred out for you, but this is the information, the personal information you've typed in for yourself where the plaque will be sent. This information obviously should be kept up to date. And down at the very bottom it lists that yes, you check the terms and conditions. Actually, you can't create an account unless you check that box, so it's a little redundant. And at the very bottom it tells me the date that you actually created your account. Now, with people that have had their account transferred from the old system to new, the date at this point is not correct. I'm aware of this and we're working on it. When you're finished with all the changes, you click Update Profile. It jumps back up at the top and says Profile was updated and everything's good to go. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to the dashboard. And actually from the dashboard, we're going to click on Posts. And if you don't have any existing applications, either waiting for approval or approved, or you're just working on them as a draft, you're going to see a list of everybody's applications. You can't edit these. All you can see is the names. To create a new application for yourself, you click on Add New Here, or hover over New and Add Here. I prefer the Add New beside the post. It's more in my face, so I tend to click on that one. And it drops me into the new application, which is in this case called a post. It's WordPress terminology. For our purposes, it's going to be an application. You type in the title that you want the post applied to. This is the title that's going to appear on the home page. I've been using first name, last name, comma, and regiment. And when it comes to regiment, I've been using the number of the regiment, followed by the word regiment, followed by the town that the regiment belongs to, followed by, if it's a militia, the word militia. I don't use of the or of, or so it's not first regiment of Lincoln Militia. It's just First Regiment Lincoln Militia, period. Nice and simple and clean. Keep it to the point. The more consistent we are on the website, the better the database can be searched. So I'm going to do my ancestor. Click down to the next box, type in his first name again, William Johnson. He was a UEL, so I'm going to check yes, UEL. Place of birth. For the purpose of this demonstration, I can't remember, so I'm just going to say, oh, I don't remember, so I'm going to type in unknown. Try not to leave any box empty. If you don't know, say you don't know. That way we know that you didn't know. Otherwise, it can be implied that you just missed that piece of information. Province and state, he was born in, I'm going to say, Pennsylvania, so I'm going to use PA, USA. Place of death was Picton. Province was Ontario. In Canada is already filled in, or you can overwrite that. Now, I know a lot of people that have been doing the applications have used colonial North America or British province or British North America. I'm not going to get picky here. It can be whatever you like. You can be as precise as you want. I know back in 1812 it wasn't Canada, it was British North America. But the point is, we're trying to demonstrate on this website the veterans that built the country Canada. So I prefer to use current terms, making it easier for people to find these folks on a map. If we use old terms, then we have to interpret where was this place 200 years ago, and we start to lose continuity as opposed to geographics. It's a personal preference. It's up to you. Location of the grave is the name of the cemetery. Location of the grave, I can't remember the street, so I'm just gonna leave that blank right now. Now, at this point, let's suppose I just have to walk away. I gotta leave now. So what you would do is scroll back up to the top and hit Save Draft. You get a notification that the post draft is updated. Let's go take a look at our posts now. Remember how there used to be all those posts? Now there's none except for yours. To go back and start editing it again, click on the name, drops you back in, and you continue right where you left off. Now, something that I want to point out, you see these little red asterisks beside these fields? These fields are mandatory. In our old system, if you didn't have all the mandatory fields, you couldn't start an application. That's not true with this system. With this system, as long as you're only saving it as a draft, you can save it without the required fields. But as soon as you submit it for consideration, you must have all those asterisk fields filled in. That includes items like location of the grave, the province, the country, and the GPS coordinates. I've added GPS coordinates because it's taken me a huge amount of time trying to track down these locations, and it's frustrating for me because a lot of the cemeteries are called the Old Burying Ground, New Brunswick, Old Burying Ground, Ontario, Old Burying Ground, County of Brant. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to let people see where these people are buried and perhaps go out and visit their graves. I think it would be a great thing to be able to have a 1812 veteran GPS tour, but we have to know whether the locations are accurate or not. So I'm going to show you how to find an accurate GPS location, provided you know where it is on the face of the planet. So, location of the grave, I'm just going to put in unknown right now, because I'm going to pretend that this guy was, I don't know. Town, unknown. I do know it was in Ontario in Canada. Now I got to find his GPS coordinates. Well, I know he was on Highway 11, so I'm going to jump over to Google Maps at maps.google.com. And I've got, Barrie, and I've got Highway 11 here. And I'm just gonna scroll around till I find a place where I think the cemetery is. And I know, like I said, it was on Highway 11, so I'm gonna zoom in a little bit until I can see Highway 11. And Highway 11 is, where is Highway 11? That's 4. Why are they calling it 4? 20th Side Road. Here we go. Highway 11, Yonge Street. So I'm going to say it's probably around here, and I keep zooming in, and I say, I don't know, what is this? Is this a park or something? I don't know what this is. So if you come down and turn on the Earth view, you can see that all of a sudden this is a field full of stones, it looks like. And if you keep zooming in, you can actually tell that this is an old cemetery. So all you need to do to get the GPS location is right-click on a location. You can pick the grave out. You can do that too, but I'm going to pick the church. So right-click here, say what's here. In the upper left-hand corner, we see 6th Line Cemetery, Yonge Street, Innisfil. So these are the coordinates that we want here. So instead of writing them down and then transferring them, what we're going to do is we're going to left-click and hold and drag from right to left to select the coordinates. Once they're selected, let go of your left-click, then put your cursor at numbers, right-click, and select copy. Then we're going to go back to our application, and we're going to put our mouse cursor in the GPS coordinates for latitude, and we're going to do a right-click and select paste. Now we've got both coordinates, we only want one. So the latitude is the first number, it's the 44 number. So get rid of everything after the comma, including the comma, delete it. Come down to the next one, which is a longitude. Right-click and paste. Get rid of everything prior to the minus sign. And we need the minus sign because the minus sign means we're on the west side of the prime meridian, not the other side. Where's the east side? One or the other. Anyway, delete that. Now you have accurate GPS coordinates. Wasn't that simple? So, if for some reason you don't know the location of the gravesite, put a note in the biography section of this to that effect, but still choose a logical GPS coordinates for me. For example, if you knew your ancestor was living in Montreal at the time when they died, then put Montreal as the location of the gravesite. The point is to be able to show that, veterans are buried all over the country. They helped to build the entire country. One thing I really want to get away from is some people were putting locations of gravesites in the middle of the ocean. Well, now I have to construe, was that an ocean battle, or did they actually, get buried there, or was it just a mistake? Was it just a typing mistake? At any rate, make an educated guess. We'll put the information in the biography, and the reader will know, oh, I shouldn't be tracing this guy down because there's no chance that this is going to be his accurate location. So that's the end of part 1, creating an application for your War of 1812 veteran. Feel free to save it at this point as save as draft, as you've seen before, and we'll pick it up at this point in part 2. Thanks for listening. Bye.